Hi, thanks for having me today. I'm not a graduate from this university, but I've been to a few others. And I'm really happy to be here today. I'm here because of the Insights Conference. And I wanted to share my experience in building up a team. I think it's important for me to just give you a background of myself. I'm the co-founder and CTO of a company called StreetHub. The company was founded about 2 years ago. It's a local marketplace for unique products that are sourced from small independent boutiques within a local area. So what we do is we go to all these nice little places that you will find in the neighborhoods of London, for example. And we ask them to be part of our network and sell the products through our systems. Before I founded StreetHub, I studied computer science at the University of Cologne. I grew up in Cyprus, so hey Cyprus. Yeah, I studied in Germany, and then I went to the LSE in London. And while I was there, I got into EntrepreneurFirst as well, so that's where I started my baby steps in terms of startups. Maria failed 3 times. I think I failed a lot more than that. But it kind of works out at the end, so that's a good part about it. So StreetHub was founded early 2013. We've got about 350 shops now, part of our network. We've got an inventory of about 16,000 products that we sell through our website or through our mobile app. We got funded by Octopus, Index, and some other VCs. Up to now, we've raised about £1.85 million. Now, it's important to always, when you see these numbers, they don't really mean much. It doesn't mean anything if someone has raised money, and I really want you guys to think about that. Because that's where hype gets created when you see these numbers and you're like, whoa, there is like $50 million on a billion valuation. That doesn't mean anything. It just means that the founders sold their company quite well to some people, and some people think that there is value. It doesn't really mean there is value. It means that the company is at a certain stage that they can raise money, which is nice, but it doesn't really mean that these guys are filthy rich. And it also means that they have an extended runway, so they can go for another 12 months, 16, 24 months, and get a good shot at making it happen. But that's all it means, right? So don't get impressed by numbers, they don't really mean that much. So I'm going to go on about how I build up my team. You can always ask me on Twitter if you have any questions, but I'm going to be on the panel as well. So my team, if I'm going to talk about my team, I might as well introduce them. 2 guys at the top, my co-founders, Maxim and Mandeep. They actually come from a different background. They were previously in investment banking, very interesting stuff. They decided at some point in their lives that they didn't want to do it anymore. These guys gave up 6-figure salaries just to build up their dream. And they're definitely not making that much money now, so maybe taking a step back is a good idea. I think one of the good things about StreetHub was that I was the kind of young tech guy, and they were the experienced kind of financial, business-minded people. And it was a nice chemistry. But then at some point, some people believe enough in you to give you money. And when you get that money, the first thing they say is, go build a team. And at that moment of time, you need to rethink, you need to switch your mindset, you need to understand that you need to offload a lot of responsibility from yourself because you just can't handle it. And it's really hard, because if you spend quite a lot of time ripping off terms and conditions from different websites and then building up your own one, when you get someone who has an experience with that and tells you that everything you've done is basically shit, then that's something that really hurts you. But you really need to learn delegating stuff. And you can't do it on your own, so you need to have people who are capable enough and can provide enough value to build it for you, right? And they need to believe in you. Which brings me to the second point. Now there's a lot of bureaucracy in typical businesses. I guess in Cypriot companies or big companies in Cyprus, it's probably you've got a dress code, and then you've got specific times that you need to be in the office. And then probably you need to fight some paperwork when you want to have a new laptop. Or if you're out of pens, you probably need to go to a special room and get those pens so that you can continue working. And one thing that startups have over big businesses is that they need to be flexible. They need to take advantage, and giving the Argonauts, we're the small ships, right? We need to move fast. And one way for us was to completely get rid of any bureaucracy, right? If you want a laptop, you let me know that you want a laptop, and I'm going to get you the laptop, right? If you, we operate on flexi times, which means you can come into the office anytime before 11, and you're allowed to leave the office anytime after 4. Because I don't care how much time you spend in the office, I really don't care about that. What I care about is that the list of things you had to do and the quality of work that you've done is acceptable based on my criteria, which are quite high lately. So for me, it's quite important to just, you are a startup, you are a small team, there are things that you can do differently, and you should do those things differently, and you should really just focus on merit. You should focus on value generation, you should focus on quality of execution. Don't focus on things like, oh my god, you're going to get 26 days off and not 25. I really don't care about that. So that was my second learning, and it was hard for me because I think when you go to the army and all that kind of stuff in Cyprus, you kind of get into a mode where you're really strict about you do this and that and stuff. And God forbid you're a sergeant or something like that, then you have to do more. So yeah, I worked on my own for a long time. Maybe that's as a background. I was doing mobile apps, web development, that kind of thing while I was a student. That's where I got my technical skills. But while I was doing that, I was really focused on just doing value, right? Never filed any tax returns and all that. Hope that's not going to haunt me in the future. So the third learning is, that's a quote from Richard Branson, and it really resonated with what I'm experiencing with my team. So when you're a startup, you probably won't be able to pay people as much as they would get paid somewhere else. And you have a lot of responsibility to give out to other people, and they're going to learn a lot, right? Either on the tech team or on the marketing team, they would take up huge projects that you would typically need 5 to 10 other people to do. They would have to handle that load. So they will learn a lot, right? And you will find ways to train them, right? I'm sending my guys spend a couple of £100 just to send them to a tech conference next week. So just pay them the tickets, let them go for a couple of days. They will learn a lot and they will appreciate it, right? So you train them well enough so they can leave. And they're getting a bunch of recruiters. I don't know, in London it's really bad because recruiters are everywhere. They try to poach everyone. So you really need to find a way that even though they can leave you and even though everyone wants to have them, they can't because they just want to stay with you. Right? And that's not easy. We do things like weekly snacks. So we just buy them snacks, right? It's going to cost you nothing, but like just having the chance as an employee or a team member to write up in a list of things that you would like to eat, and then we just buy it for you once a week. It costs like £100, but who cares, right? That's things that people value. That's things that people really like, or tech stuff, that kind of thing. So that's, I think, one of the most important things that I've learned in terms of building a team. And yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk to you about. In the questions, I'm happy to answer any questions about fundraising and all that kind of stuff. That's the second thing I didn't know anything about, and now I think I know a little bit more. So yeah, thanks for listening.